So just because you're making the money or just because you can afford it doesn't necessarily mean you have to buy it. So I had 3 different experiences today. One experience was with my little brother. He's 15, about to be 16, right? And he wants new school clothes, right? But he doesn't understand the value of $1. Next experience, I was at the gym and I was doing cable curls, and there was this younger dude. It was actually 2 dudes, and one of the guys mentioned that he's in high school and how he wants to get into an AI agency and start making 10K a month. And the first thing he's gonna do is get a TRX. And then the third one, which y'all already know, is that my Honda Accord is in the shop right now. So those are my 3 experiences. But you know, understanding that the first thing that you buy when you get a lot of money, or even when you start getting a decent income, says a lot about you. You know, because 2 people can make the exact same amount of money, but end up in 2 completely different stages of life, or have 2 different perspectives on what the money should be used for. And the difference isn't how much they earn, it's about how much they keep. And not only how much they keep, it's about what they do with the money that they do keep. So basically, making money is only half the equation, right? Because like I said, just because you get money doesn't mean you're able to keep money, or you can put money where it needs to go. That's why you have millionaires or people that make 6 figures a year and still feel broke, still feel like they're struggling to make ends meet. But understanding that the first major purchase, often okay, basically your first purchase, whenever you get some real money, it simply reveals your priorities. Your first purchase, when you finally get that 10K, are you going to go get a scat? Are you going to invest $1,000 into learning how to invest in real estate? Or are you going to go shopping? Or are you going to help your family out? It simply just, it reveals you. The money reveals you. The success reveals you. And it amplifies who you already are. It shows you where your priorities are. Simple as that. But, you know, at 23, I'm understanding that buying status before the foundation is set is extremely detrimental to not only building wealth, but just living a decent life. I'm not going to even say, because not everybody wants to be rich. Not everybody wants 20K months or 50K months or even 100K months. But in order to live a smooth life, not everything is going to be, you know, peaches and cream, but for the most part, to live a smooth life, you know, buying status before building stability will delay your wealth, or will delay or completely destroy your ability to have a good or decent life, right? Which is subjective. But understand this, that every dollar spent, literally, every dollar spent is a vote for the life that you want to live. Every dollar spent is a vote for the future you're creating, not only for yourself, but for your children and for your family and your legacy that's to come, like years after, right? So like I said, really deciding to repair my Honda rather than get a car note with full coverage insurance, you know, that's a chess move. You know, this is not a game of checkers. That was a chess move, because if I'm able to get that car repaired for, let's just say on the high end, $2,500, right? Either one, I can go buy a cash car for $2,500 that will come with more problems, or I can just continue to keep the car that I have now and invest it's an investment in my eyes. Invest $2,500 to get it fixed. Now I know I'm dealing with my car. I know that it's getting fixed, and if I can buy myself another 6 to 12 months, I can continue to stack my cash without having a car note. right? That's an investment, but that's thinking long term because I'm deciding to build my cash rather than, you know, easily go get a finance vehicle. Another example is like dude with the TRX aspirations. There's nothing inherently wrong with wanting a TRX, but he was in high school. He didn't even graduate high school yet. So it's like for you to want to make 10K, you know, that's admirable. Everybody would like to make 10K. Everybody would like to make 20K, right? But it's about what you do with that money. And I didn't talk to him personally. I didn't pick his brain or even try to, you know, take him up under my wing or anything like that or try to give him advice. But I'm just thinking, you know, like what that money could be used for if you're in high school now and let that money compound. So, you know, not saying to not get your TRX, bro, but I'm just more so saying like there's more to this world than a TRX, especially coming out of high school making 10K a month. Not he doesn't make 10K a month, but those are his aspirations for when he does finally make 10K a month. So I just thought that was you know, an eye opener. Because myself, when I was in high school, I wasn't thinking about what kind of car I was gonna drive. But that's just me personally. So I can't enforce my philosophy on anybody else. But, you know, I'm just thinking like long term because a TRX is about 80K. You know what I'm saying? If you're willing to finance a 80K vehicle, imagine financing like a property or something like that that will pay you dividends in the long run. Now you can come back and get your TRX or whatever. You may not even want a TRX by the time you get out of high school. So that's just to put things into perspective. And then the final one is basically my little brother. I'm just, cause he's 15, right? And it's more so about learning how to earn, learning how to allocate your money versus expecting a handout. Just because, you know, his mom is in his life. He has a stepmom as well. We have the same stepmom. We had the same dad, and he has an older brother, and he has like grandparents. It's like, come on, like I'm not saying he's used to handouts, but he's still learning how to earn for himself, and I want him to focus on learn how to not only earn for himself because he definitely has earned the money, but it frustrates me because he goes and blows it and then expects somebody to come rescue him after we give him the game, after we give him advice, after we try to help him allocate or at least save his money. So like I said, just thinking long term, just because you can afford it, just because I can afford it, just because I got, you know, the money I have in my account doesn't necessarily mean that I have to come to your rescue or that I have to buy you all these clothes for school. You know what I'm saying? Like he's simply going to school, but he doesn't feel like he's learning anything. He's not making any real social connections. He's not playing any sports. So it's like, bro, you just want me to spend my money so you can be perceived by the people at your school like you out here earning it. You know what I'm saying? Or like you out here and that you deserve it. You know, it's he wants Air Forces, some Vans, like essential, like the hoodies, Nike Techs. I'm like, bro, you ain't work for this. And even if you did, just because I got it, just because my dad got it, and just because your family has it, doesn't necessarily mean that we have to spend it. And especially we don't have to spend it on that stuff, that material stuff, especially because you haven't worked for it. But you know, money doesn't just buy things. It, like I said, it shows you who you are, it reveals who you are, and it shows you where your priorities are. So before you spend your first big check, right? Before you spend that first $1,000 or $10,000, ask yourself, am I buying freedom or am I buying an image? Really think about that, because I think subconsciously a lot of people are buying either freedom or an image. Or even if you're not buying it, what are you going to work for? What are you saving your money for? Are you saving your money so you can be free, so you can have freedom? Or are you getting your money and spending your money so you can have the image of looking free? So it's like, okay, are you buying an image or are you buying freedom? So those are like the long-term thoughts that you have to continuously think about, because I'm not gonna cap, like even with my Honda Accord situation, I catch myself almost daily looking at cars I can finance. But why would I do that? It always comes back full circle. Cam, don't do it. It's not worth it. You would be buying an image versus buying freedom. You would be buying short-term freedom and then putting yourself in a financial cage, or making it harder on yourself to move freely financially, right? This way I can switch jobs if I wanted to without thinking about a car note. I can go get, it's good knowing that I can get any apartment I want or any car that I want with the credit score that I have in the city that I live in, but I have the options, I have the optionality to do something different because I see a longer lasting, sustainable plan through the actions and behaviors that I'm taking. Simple as that. So ask yourself today, are you saving up, or are you buying freedom, or are you saving up to buy an image? Because at the end of this life, at the end of everything, it all comes down to the decisions that you're making and the behaviors that you're doing. But ultimately, that comes from your identity. That comes from who you believe yourself to be. So I highly recommend reading, and this is like free promo, go ahead and read The Psychology of Money or Atomic Habits if you haven't already picked up that book. Free promo, by the way. But that's pretty much the main point of the video, because just because you can afford it or just because you have the money for it doesn't mean you have to buy it, or it doesn't mean you have to buy it right now. Not saying don't desire it, because we all have desires, but you gotta sequence things properly or it's gonna be destruction. So your boy Cameron Mitchell is out. I hope y'all have a great day. Like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions for me or any advice for me as far as my videos or like the way I'm thinking, if my thinking is off just a little bit, let me know. I'm open to constructive criticism, but I appreciate y'all. We almost at 100 subscribers, so we locked in, y'all. I'm gonna talk to y'all later.